All right. Around the Planet, number 11, confirmed. This is Around the Planet. This is our monthly newsletter, and I'm sitting down with Doug Whorlow.
Hello.
Doug is one of the longer tenured people in the CCC. The CCC, if you don't remember, is the
BDC.
But what's the
It's now known as the Communication Center, essentially.
So it's just the CC.
Well, I like to say it's communication because we talk to everyone at the company and the customers.
That's true.
But
that's a good
it's Customer Care Center.
Customer Care Center. So Doug agreed to sit down with me. The point of these... So what?
Against my will.
No, Doug agreed. The whole point of this is to get to know the people who work here, to get to know what our jobs are and who we are. Because I believe we all have unique skills that we don't use in our daily work lives. We have unique hobbies. We're all individuals. So the goal today is to get to know Doug as an individual and to get to know the CCC a little bit more. So we can start with, let's start with you.
Okay.
Tell us about Doug. I don't know where you're from. I don't know much about you.
Okay. Well, I'm from Colorado, born and raised.
Cool.
I've left the state only a handful of times. Some of them I don't remember.
Okay.
I was a child.
Oh, so you're in the back of a van?
No, I wasn't kidnapped, but you know.
Are you like a Golden Lakewood, Denver?
Mostly Golden Lakewood area.
Okay.
I've lived once in Pine when I was a child.
Cool.
Don't remember that either. I mean, who knows when they're children a lot what goes on.
Sure.
Let's be honest. I've always liked cars.
So if any car were available, and you have to step back from reality, so don't put a budget cap on this. If it was just like, hey, this car shows up in your driveway, and it's your darn car for the rest of the time, what would it be? Do you think about this at all?
Yes.
All right, what is it?
Probably a Maserati MC12.
Maserati MC12. I bet
Absolutely.
If you ask nicely, he'll be able to make it superimpose right here.
Right here?
It's
a cool car.
All right, I mean, look at it. It looks uncomfortable to drive, probably. It's probably a supercar that the steering wheel is like on your body.
Yeah, you're practically sitting on the floor.
Perfect. Okay, and what is it about? So do you watch like YouTube videos of like these supercars running?
Yeah, I watch Hill Climb.
Okay, I've heard of it.
I've watched the Goodwood Festival of Speed.
Cool.
That they hold out in, I believe, England. Really cool. They get all types of cars.
See, I didn't know you were... See, this is cool to me. I didn't know that... Are you into, like, racing? Does that interest you?
It does. I play a lot of racing games.
Cool.
Because, obviously, I don't have a
car.
Or any car that can go anywhere.
That's okay. So, see, that's really cool to me because racing is, like... Let me put it this way. When people talk about sports, people normally feel like, oh, the big five. You like sports? And they're like, which one? Which one? And I have found over the years, talking to a lot of people, racing, whether it's Formula One or NASCAR or whatever, people are usually into that, and it's not like an obvious thing. It's not like, oh yeah, they talk about it every week, So I think that's cool. So in your, is it like Forza? Is that what you play? Or?
Yeah, Forza.
Do you have the Maserati? Did you build it out?
I have multiple times. I also like to make rally cars out of cars that you wouldn't expect.
So like Honda Odyssey rally cars?
They don't have that in the game, but I did make a Lamborghini into a rally car.
We're going to have to get some new suspension.
It works somehow.
That's awesome. Cool. So you're local. You just said when we were walking in here, you've been working here for 3 years?
I've been here 3 years now.
Dang. That makes you one of the more tenured. I know Christine Carroll, and then you, right?
Yeah, I'm third.
Yeah, and so you're kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, right there in the middle.
Whether you realize it or not, you kind of are a leader there. And honestly, all of our departments are small. Our whole company, 2 dealerships, is like 120 people. So these departments, have people that just through time and experience and commitment get moved into that role where people will ask you, hey, how do I? And they look to you too. So
yeah. Luckily, I know some of those answers.
I mean, that's usually what it takes. Okay, so tell me about what brought you to this. How did you find this job? What led you here?
The internet. I'm just kidding. But I did apply on Indeed, obviously. I just quit my job at 7-Eleven because I really hated it.
Okay.
And I wanted something more stable and less, out there with the public face-to-face, just because you hear a lot of horror stories at gas stations, let's be honest. And I'm like, I don't want to be robbed.
True.
And I don't
Very
think anyone
unlikely to
does.
happen in the CCC.
No, very unlikely. So I really appreciate that fact.
So I imagine, in a weird way, working behind the counter at a 7-Eleven kind of prepared you for challenging conversations.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would imagine that, dealing with perhaps a heated customer over the phone, because let's be honest, customers are either happy, apathetic, or heated. That just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And, dealing with them through the phone kind of probably feels a lot less likely to get you fired up,
Yeah, a little bit. There's sometimes, obviously some customers just take it a little far sometimes.
Sure.
Maybe they've been having a bad day. It's not always personal, obviously.
Sure. Rarely is. It's just
rarely.
You're just the guy on the other end of the phone.
I'm just the one who answered at that moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the CC.
The CCC. Well, obviously we take a lot of the phone calls for the company, if not the most.
I mean, definitely the most, right?
I like to be somewhat humble sometimes.
Somewhat humble.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you guys take a ton of calls. Talk to me about,
We do.
just describe to me, presume I don't work in there.
Okay.
Someone watching this has never been up there, just like you've never been in this room.
Gotcha.
A lot of people have never been in that room. Describe the challenges. Describe what you do.
Well, as soon as the phone rings, obviously we want to answer as soon as possible. Help them sooner. Mm-hmm. It gets quite noisy up there since we're all in just a couple cubicles, maybe
6 of you guys?
6 feet apart.
I think
There's me, Carol, Christy, who's in her own office, Trinity, Prairie, and Justin. And now we just got a new hire,
okay, so,
Michelle.
yeah, that's right. You're getting bigger. It's going to get louder.
And also Vanessa's up there for sales. So we got quite a few people
That's
up in
cool.
that small office.
Okay.
When Linnell was here, she was definitely the loudest. But
We love you, Linnell.
we do. But it's definitely hard sometimes to hear a customer. Sometimes you got to just kind of muffle what you can hear on the outside.
Sure. Cool. Talk to me. Just give us an example about a big day for you. Give us an idea. All right, you had a crazy busy day. It was probably Monday. How many appointments are you booking on a crazy busy day?
I think the most I've booked on a single day was 28 for Honda and then 16 for Hyundai.
So that's 50 appointments?
Yeah, that's just the appointments we've set. That's not amount of calls that we've answered to either just radio code questions or where we're located, or if someone just wants to know what their appointment time is for.
Sure.
I've answered well over 100 calls in a day, and that's just answering the phone, not so much making the appointment.
Right. So, 50 appointments, just so you guys know, that's getting their information. That's probably getting a VIN or something like that, pulling them up in the system, getting them to commit to a time, doing all that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's not just all right, book online, see ya.
Yeah, it's not just, you want an oil change? Yeah, come by.
Sure.
We got a day and time, what their service is for, if they're in the system. If not, add them with all their information.
And a lot of expectation setting.
Yep. We got to set the expectation that they'll be handled correctly. We're going to do the job correctly, and they're going to have a nice time bringing their car here.
Sure. So one thing I'll say, if you're a service advisor, if you're a technician and you're watching this, obviously every phase of the process where the customer's here, there's a playbook for it. It's all right, let's meet and greet, let's do the estimate, let's work on the car, let's do the video. There is a huge amount of pre-work that I know that the CCC does, because if you got 7 people and you're putting 50 appointments a day, I know the Honda shop will run 80 to 100 ROs a day. The Hyundai shop will run, it varies, but up to 30 a day.
Yeah, roughly.
So we have, easily 100 organized customers a day in this company, and that's coming through 6 people. So that is one of the things that I'm most impressed with what you guys do is just your ability to handle volume, to handle questions, and to set expectations.
Okay.
So one of the questions that I've tried to ask, and sometimes I get a logical answer, sometimes I don't. So if there's really not a good answer, you can say that. But one of the goals with these videos is understanding. And like we said earlier, I don't think you can care about a job unless you kind of understand it.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I have is, every department has interactions with other departments. What can we do to help each department? So specifically, is there a little thing that other departments can do, whether it's sales, whether it's service, whether it's the advisors, it doesn't matter. What is the little thing that when somebody does it, that little extra thing that goes a long way for the BDC?
Well, for us, it's as boring as it sounds, communication. Just tell us what's going on when it's going on.
Okay. Tell me, like, example for that.
We need to know when sales members are not here or if they just took a vacation, because we have their customers calling to us.
Okay, that's true.
So we need no scheduling, especially even with advisors. If they're going to just take a vacation, how long? So we can tell their customers and, help them get to the advisor's partner. We need to know all this information. So if something changes, just tell us.
Okay. So it's super funny that you say this, because I think the answer 8 out of 10 times in the company has been communication.
Yeah.
So, and that's because it's a business.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good specific example, because you're right. You guys field a lot of the calls of, hey, Calvin helped me last week, or hey, Calvin had this car, and you're like, oh, Calvin's out of town, but here's Brandon, or something like that. So, sales, service, managers, team leads, if anybody's unexpectedly out, or not just on their day off. I wouldn't have known that. So that's a good thing to share, because the best metaphor I have is to borrow the term from Christy and Christian before that. You guys are that first impression department.
Yeah.
And obviously, information is power, so you want to be set up to answer those questions. And even if they're hoping someone's in the office and they're not, if you can tell them, hey, great news, they're not, but XYZ is, I think that moves forward. So
it helps us out.
So that's pretty good. Anything else that I should be thinking about? I have one question for you.
Yes.
What is a hidden skill you have, or hobby, or interest that nobody knows about?
Well, only my close friends really know, but I like beatboxing.
You have to do it.
I have to.
You have to do it. You can't just say that.
You really just put me on the spot. All right. I guess technically
I thought you were going to say, like I like to draw, and I can't just make you draw.
I suck at drawing.
Oh, then let's beatbox.
I need some water now for that.
This is awesome.
Well, I don't know. Like, do you want just drum and bass, or like?
We would like Bach's Goldberg variations in D.
I don't understand. That's a little bit. I don't want to throw my throat because I got work. So I'm not going to do any inward bass.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Doug Whorlow, beatbox enthusiast, Forza enthusiast, racing enthusiast. Doug's a really cool guy, and I appreciate you sitting down. I never would have expected that, and I appreciate you doing it. But we have good people that work here. We have unique people that work here, and everybody has their own story. So I appreciate you showing us a little bit of yours.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was a better rap, wasn't it?
Yeah.